It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and I have two special guests with me today. First up is my guy, Frederick Whitaker. Fred Whit, as some people may know him. What? That's not your name?
That's my name. Hello, Yee. Hello.
And Jahliel Thurman is here.
Yes. Good. What up?
Okay, now, Jahliel Thurman, you are the host of HBCU 101.
Mm-hmm.
And Fred Whit, you are a producer.
Yes, I'm an EP
And his
producer
manager.
on it.
Yes. Oh, sorry, EP.
Yes.
Executive
I'm a producer on it. Yes, on HBCU 101. It's a very intriguing show that we try to shed the light on people that graduated and went to HBCU so we can tell their stories.
And you both went to an HBCU, right? So you went to Virginia State University.
I did. Shout out to Trojan Nation in the building.
And Fred, what school did you go to?
That's what we're doing.
Very proud of
That's what we're doing.
North Carolina A&T.
Everybody know what I represent, man. Come on.
We know. Now, in addition to managing your guy, Jahliel, you also managed Terrence J. That's how we first met, actually, when Terrence was doing 106 in Park. Mm-hmm. And did you guys meet at A&T?
Yeah, me and TJ, we actually met at A&T, which was funny. We had a mutual friend by the name of Kim Worth that introduced TJ and I to each other. And TJ was on the radio in college. Mm-hmm. So I was interested in that. That was my major, journalism and communications. So the day I met him, he handed me a stack of flyers and was like, yo, pass these out. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, what part of the game is this? But then I was like, you know what? If I really want to be in this business, in this game and learn this game, then I'll do it. And he did it as a test. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, I had the flyers all over A&T's campus. And from there...
So you didn't just throw them out?
Nah, I didn't. Back then there was no social media, so I actually had to put it on the cars. Yeah. So from there we just built a friendship and built a bond and a career in this industry over 20 years now. He was SGA president. I was on the chief of staff. He was the host. I was a DJ. Shout out to my guy Tribon and Quiet, man. We had this little group called Team Dollar in college where we did all of the parties and we did step shows, fashion shows. So everything that I'm doing now, I actually learned at A&T just coming up.
And Jahliel, you're from Chicago.
Yep.
So what was that like for you going from Chicago to Virginia State University?
Man, we were literally just talking about this earlier. It was probably the hardest transition. Mm-hmm. Chicago is a big city, quick, fast paced. Petersburg, Virginia. I don't know if you've ever been to Petersburg, Virginia. But it's very small. You go from having public transportation to get around to having to have somebody to borrow a car to, it wasn't even really that many fast food restaurants. It was crazy because when I was in school, Cookout came to, and it was literally walking distance, and it became a thing, for us to walk.
I don't think I've ever been to a cookout. I know it's a big thing in the...
Yeah, you might need to check that out.
It's a big thing in the South.
Yeah, it's a thing in the South. But I never heard of it until I got there. And also, too, just the culture and the vibe at Virginia State was different. Coming from Chicago, we talk a certain way. Mm-hmm. I got... made fun of because I don't do the R. I don't pronunciate the R. The car. You know what I'm saying? They no, it's car. And I'm like, nah, it's the car.
You be like, the what?
Yeah.
What is that?
What is that? And so, but then you start to really be exposed to just different cultures. And so after my freshman year, which I hated it, honestly, I ended up joining a frat, SGA president, vice president.
Which frat?
The one that matters, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Yeah. All right,
yeah. My bad. We're working.
But and then that's when I really found out who I was gonna be. My dad told me in high school, yo, go to HBCU. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So you always knew because you had applied to other HBCUs as well, but you knew you were gonna go to an HBCU.
Yeah. So I applied to all schools, got in. Virginia State came to Chicago for a scholarship reception. They offered me the most money. My mom used to say, you got to pay for college. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, people pay for school. I'm like, well, I didn't pay for high school. Why am I paying for college? And I'm like, I'm not going to pay for college. And how the cookies fell, I didn't pay for college. And so it was two questions. Money was paid for, and then it was, I had some friends that was there. I said, are the Qs on the yard? They like, yeah. I said, I'll see y'all in the fall. And that's how I got to Virginia State.
Now, Fred, how long did it take you to graduate?
Shout out to my 5-year seniors, man. It's not about, when you graduate, it's when you graduate. So, I did 5 years, man. But I actually originally started school at Elizabeth City State University, so I transferred. So when I transferred to North Carolina A&T, I lost credits. So technically, I had to start over when I went over to A&T. So I mean, but for me, it was one of the greatest decisions I ever made because I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now if I'd have never went to A&T.
And I think about the network that you have when you go to an HBCU. My business partner went to Tennessee State University, so he started a coffee company with me, Tony Forte. And every time I go anywhere in anywhere, they'd be like, "Oh, your partner, Tony Forte, he's a celebrity," because he has such a great network from having gone to an HBCU and having gone to TSU that everywhere I go, it's like people.
Nah, HBCUs, we're like a big family that just want to support each other in whatever endeavors that you're doing, no matter what it is. And, a lot of us come up in this business on this game together, so we want to see each other win and how we can help each other out. And that was one of the things that how me and Jahliel really connected because he went to HBCU, he was a Q. So we had a lot of things that was aligned. I was like, well, you know what, let's see where this can go. Let's see, the two of us working together and see what we can accomplish.
Now, Jahliel, you started off a Yard Talk 101, right?
Correct.
All right, so talk about the whole transformation and starting Yard Talk 101. What made you do that, and then how we got to HBCU 101?
So, working in this field, in media, entertainment, everybody not going to be here and on the cameras, or they just not. Everybody can't be the host, and it's a tough field to navigate. And so when I was in undergrad, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my career. I got to figure this out. And then when I was SGA president, we had a wild it was a wild year. It was a wild year. We got into it with the football team at the championship game. It was a brawl. It was like a stabbing on campus. It was a lot of things that was happening. And the reality of it is that when you're in college, you're typically between the ages of 18 and 23. So you're still growing up. You're still making immature decisions and things like that. But the media came to campus and was like, y'all thugs, y'all this, y'all that, like just so negative. Right. And so I was like, as SGA president, I'm like, the morale's trash. It's really bad. It's low. How can we turn this around going into the next semester? And so we created this spoken word piece where we addressed the media in a way that was creative, but told like, yo, if y'all calling us thugs, we tough, heaven sent, underprivileged gladiators, like trying to turn that narrative around. And then it did so well within my alumni base at Virginia State that when I graduated, I was like, yo, we need somebody to control our story and our narrative. And so I would literally travel to HBCUs, talk to them like, yo, Fred, we here at A&T, who run the yard? Maybe the Qs run the yard, or, yo, what's campus life like, to show people the positives of HBCUs. And this was before content, like, and everybody doing content now, but this was before it was a thing. And so over the years, that's what I did. And that's how over the years I've been able to meet people, be in different spaces, and transform.
No, first of all, there's a few different things that I love about that, because we've been seeing now, I feel like there did used to be a stigma, like you said, with the media and how they would portray HBCUs. But now you can see that nationwide college enrollment is down, but HBCU enrollment is up. Like incredibly, and so I think it may have taken some time for that to catch on. But now you see people intentionally being like, I went, and Fred, I'm sure you want your daughter to go to
absolutely
an HBCU.
A&T. I prefer to go to A&T.
My sister's at Tennessee State right now, so shout out to Naya. She's at Tennessee State sophomore.
I gotta make sure she meets my partner.
Yeah.
You'll
We
love
gotta figure it out. Yeah, we gotta figure it out for sure. Get him on the show.
We gotta have him on the show.
Yeah, we gotta have him on the show.
And let's get to the show, because what's great about it is not just celebrities, but it's also everyday successful people who have gone to HBCUs in all different types of fields. You know, you had Fred on.
Yeah, that was funny how we got Fred. So,
how did that happen?
So what happened was, right, and I don't even know if Fred knows this story. So, I actually got the call. I wasn't even supposed to host the show. Tylee Carr, HBCU Game Day, they was doing some stuff with the network. He had a host. Ended up not having a host no more. He called me. I was in D.C. He like, yo, we gonna roll with you. I'm like, all right, bet, cool. The first guest didn't show up. Didn't show up. Like, we filming, we got to turn it in, didn't show up. So the first episode is literally just me and Tylee talking about Yard Talk 101, HBCU Game Day, us coming together to create HBCU 101.
Okay.
And I said, yo, Tylee, like, look, I can get spicy. Like, I can call my friends. So I called Uche. Uche like, look, this is what we gonna do. And I don't know if you even know this. Uche is like, yo, we gonna get Fred to come on the show. And he like, and then I'm a pitch to him to be executive producer. He don't even know it. I said, all right, bet. So Fred was in Atlanta for Luda Day weekend at the time. He came through. Right. We did his interview. He seen himself on TV. Uche was like, yeah. Fred was like, oh, that is nice. And then, ever since then,
my friends know it, man.
Well calculated plan.
And ever since then, we've been up. with the show.
Right.
And we, like you said earlier, like we've been real intentional about who and what, because when you think of HBCUs, you know, we don't want you to only think of just the celebrities, because there's so many people that are successful that went to HBCUs.
Shout out to Jasmine Brand. She's up here on the show a lot. She owns the website, The Jasmine Brand. She went to Morgan State University.
Oh, yeah, we got to get her in. Yeah, for sure.
Nah.
Fred
Hey,
is so
Jazz.
disappointed she's not here.
No, I was looking for Jazz today, but you know, we want to be able to tell everybody's story, man, and we think that we want people to know that you can go to a HBCU and you can still be super successful in any field that you want to be in. And we just like shedding the light on those stories. So we've had big time celebrities up there, and then we've had people up there that has coffee shops or that's doing tailor suits or whatever it is. And we want to shine the light on them to help support them. Yeah, all of that. We have everybody up there. We're 8 seasons in, or it's gonna be the 8th season.
Will Packer was on. That was a good episode. You know, Will Packer will represent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but see, but I'll be honest with you, like, you know, first season we had Keisha Knight Pulliam and Will Packer, so definitely shout out to them. That was my real first interaction, like, sit down, come in. Fred was like, hey, don't embarrass me. Make sure it's cool. Yo, you know, but when Will came, it was crazy because it was like we was outside for like 20 minutes, just chit-chatting.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't talking about HBCUs. I just happened to know his son, Dom. So shout out to Dom. So he was all, my son told me I was doing an interview. And, oh, you the and then we just literally outside 20 minutes. He's like, man, my bad, we got to do an interview. And then we go in and we actually start off in a garage. And a lot of people wouldn't know it because it don't look like it. But for him, it was so nostalgia of where he started and where he's at. And now we just closed on a warehouse in Atlanta. So,
congratulations to that. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge when we know where we started.
Y'all have no idea.
Imagine starting off in the garage with Will Packer.
Yeah, and that's the crazy.
And it's crazy because when he pulled up,
it was a house.
And Will knows me. He's like, Fred, where do you have me at? And I'm like, whoa, Will, like, just you got to see the studios on the inside. We up and coming.
See the vision.
Yeah, you got to see the bigger vision. And of course, you know, he supported it, man.
So. He walked in and was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. All right. And it was just like mad cool. So, yeah, shout out to Will for sure.
Yeah, other people, Cortez Bryant has done a shout out to Cortez.
So the pandemic helped us a lot, honestly.
I saw DJ Envy on there.
Yeah. So yeah, because honestly, so when you filming in Atlanta, you got a low budget. You're trying to figure out like how to get people there. You know, crossing schedules. You know, not even really being able to film continuously. Like we was filming sporadically, like just trying to get when there are people in Atlanta first season, and then when the pandemic happened, it was. Oh, we can get anybody.
Because we did it all via Zoom.
It was all Zoom. Yeah. So that opened the whole realm of who, what, when, where, and how, from not only celebrities, but to the success stories, people that's in Detroit. You know, just all these different people that we've had.
Yeah. And Fred, with you and your background, so the reason you wanted him as an executive producer, just so people are aware of like different people who you've worked with, right, and have some good connections with. You know, why don't you name some?
I work with Angela Yee. You know, I came into this business with my brother Terrence J, but over the years I've had access to some amazing people such as Yee, Lala, DJ Envy, Lance Gross, Angela Simmons, Jay Fonz, my guy Rodney Rakai. The list, you know, once again, the list goes on and on, but I don't look at it as work. I look at it as I'm helping my friends out. And you can attest, I always reach out and be like, hey, what do you have going on? How can I help? And usually when I'm helping you accomplish something that you're trying to achieve, then, you know, when I need help, you'll come back and help me as well, too. So, yeah, I've worked with some pretty dope, amazing people, man, and I'm just thankful for my network.
And I feel like people who have graduated, who I know from HBCUs, they have a lot more of an entrepreneurial spirit than the average person. And instilling that in, like we talked about your daughter earlier, you know, you guys also have a book. You had a book that came out together and another one on the way.
Yeah, so I have this book series called Come On a Journey With Me, and it is basically a children's book, and it's about me and my two daughters, and we travel different cities. So we've done New York, we've done D.C., we've done Atlanta, and we're about to go to drop our fourth book right now. But for me, the book was to inspire them to want to be entrepreneurs and to think outside of the box. So when we have like marketing calls or ideas, like shout out to my guy Kim Wilson. He sent me the illustration for the new book, the fourth book, and I put it in front of Journey and Brawley. He's like, what do y'all think? And Journey sent notes back. Well, she sent the notes to my sister, and my sister's the writer on it. And we in a group chat with everybody, and my sister said, here's journey notes. And I'm like, journey notes? Like, she didn't even tell me, but she sent her notes on, like, how she want her hair to look, how she want her clothes to look, and Bradley does the same thing. So I just be trying to empower them, man, just to let them know that, anything can be accomplished as long as we have a plan.
Right. And for them to see and witness all of this, like Jahliel, you guys went from the garage and you're on Aspire TV.
Yeah.
So can we talk about that partnership too?
Honestly, as you know, you always need somebody who's going to give you a chance. Ty Johnson. So when I was doing Yard Talk content, I met Ty, who's also a Q as well. Ty was asking me to do some digital work. And I was like, all right, cool. And one thing I've learned about relationships is about deposits and withdrawals. Right, you can't go to the bank and take out a withdrawal if you ain't put no money in it.
Right.
So just like Fred just talked about y'all relationship, he's depositing into you, you've deposited to him. So when y'all both need, you're able to actually go, and it's authentic. So Ty was like, "Yo, look, we ain't got no money," but he would. It was a word, it was a phrase he would say. I can't remember at the moment, but it was like, "Look, just stick in it." And I'm like, "Cool." So I did the digital work, came out of pocket, and so when I actually moved to Atlanta, it was. I had quit my job. Fred was like, look, if you really want to make it entertainment, you got to leave Richmond. So I was in Richmond, D.C., New York, L.A., or Atlanta. And so I said, all right, well, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to move to A. The typical take the leap, whatever. But it was like, I feel like in this world, you either got time to make money or money to make time. You don't got both. Only wealthy people got both. And so I used my time, and I hit Ty, and I was like, look, I'm in the A. What's up? And so that's how the show came about. And they really just gave me a chance. Right, like I was doing digital work. I knew nothing about the production side. I knew how to work with a team, but then working with Tolly, who's the other producer on the show, he's the director. He has the background in TV and stuff like that, and we just been working. And it's been a relationship that, it started off, because it was new for me and just trying to figure it out. But over the years, it's been a great partnership. They've been nothing but supportive. They've shown nothing but love.
Jahliel's been very humble for the first 2 to 3 seasons. You got to have passion and a drive to accomplish the goals you want to do. They didn't pay him the first 2, 3 seasons.
Wow.
It was literally like, we're going to give you an outlet. We got to go out and shoot it. We got to go out and get our own guests. We got to chop it up. We got to produce it.
But here's the platform for us to
We're going to let you put it on TV.
Yep.
And then it got to the point where they was like, oh, you guys are knocking this out. Like, this is something here. And now we're 8 seasons in, and now the network is in full support of us. So it's just one of those things that he had the drive and he had the hunger. He was like, I'm going to put the work in. As long as, he had that window, he was like, I'm going to take advantage of this window as long as this window is open before it closes on him.
And I feel like that's what you got to do. Because
Right.
you don't know when it's going to close.
Invest in yourself.
You got to. You got to be willing to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not
I always
willing
say
to do
that too, even with like the businesses that I have. A lot of times I invest everything myself and get it to a certain point where that way people can see you got to value what you have in order for other people to value it. If you're just expecting people to do things for you just because, it's never really going to happen the way that you expect.
Sure.
And you appreciate it a lot more as well too, because you put in the work from a grassroots level. So you literally know the ins and outs. Where Jahliel will go over the numbers for the production for the year. We're like, all right, well, we need this. We need a videographer. We got a bigger studio. We need a sound guy. We know everything that's on that list, but we wouldn't have learned that if we didn't go through the first 2 to 3 seasons of figuring it out on the fly. Like, okay, we don't have a budget
everyone gets
for
paid
this.
but you at first.
Everybody.
Listen,
Everybody's still getting paid.
Everybody. But it make you appreciate it though. Like, to really look back and be like, yo, we're the longest running show on the network. 8 seasons. The network is looking to renew and do some more things in the future. And different stuff like that. And it just shows that when you really invest and put the work in, and you'll get people to support you. Because, like, even my relationship with Fred, it just, so he had to believe in me, and that's how we got here.
I mean, when you're out and about and people always walk up to you and say, hey, I want to do this and I want to do that. And you're like,
All
okay.
the time.
But you're like, let me see how consistent you're going to be, how much you're going to follow up. Let me see what you're going to do. So, like, Jahliel will reach out, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's follow back up a week from now. Let's follow back up a month from now. And it was to the point where Jahliel be reaching out to me so much. And I'm like, okay, how can I help this guy out so he can stop reaching out to me? Because
persistence overcomes resistance, baby.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think that Ty would have helped you if you were a Kappa? And
I'm
just curious.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. That's a good question.
That's
a great question. I think that so it's actually interesting. So when me and Ty met, it was on the phone. I was at work, and it was yo, I go to Virginia State, and he was like, you're not New Psi. So that's a chapter of my school. And I'm like, what you mean I'm not New Psi? And I went from business to, bruh, like, what you mean I'm not New Psi? Like, what? Like, are you New Psi? Like, and he was like, nah, but then he spit his tag and all this other stuff. And he's like, I got a love for New Psi. I got a love for Virginia State. So that really just changed our relationship and how transparent he can be with me about different things and the opportunities. So I don't think I think I still would have got the opportunities, but it wouldn't have been as with love as much. Like, I'm not, because even like our relationship with Fred and like Terrence J and Uche, like we all the bros. So it's like
we're all cute.
It all kind of layers back. It's like, oh, it's like if you meet somebody from your hometown. Oh, you from, and then they went to your high school. Oh,
right.
Like now you really want to support them. And Uche and I, Fred's line brother and business partner, we went to the same high school and we both from Chicago.
Okay.
So it changed like, okay, you a bruh, but you from the crib. So I'm going to make sure I treat this relationship with extra love and care because we from the same place.
That's dope. And I think what's also really important is giving back to HBCUs.
Yeah.
And what I love right now, too, in particular, people who didn't even attend some of these universities, they're still donating and giving back. And people can still do that. You don't have to have graduated from there,
For sure.
to be able to do that.
Yeah,
so.
no, I love the support that we're getting right now.
I mean, every dollar counts. Every dollar helps. A lot of these HBCUs are underfunded and they need more state funding, and also they need the alumni to give back so that the sports programs, the educational buildings, the dorm rooms can provide, the incoming students a wonderful opportunity in school where they don't have to be worrying about, the small little things, because when I was at school at A&T, the alumni gave back for us, so it's only right that we do the same thing for the next wave and the next generation of kids that's coming up.
And what is great is that people have this alumni network that they could tap into now. And even just from watching the HBCU 101 series, there's a lot of people I didn't know went to an HBCU. So it's just nice to see those different connections of people going, and they're very proud of it.
Absolutely.
Everybody. And it's crazy because you got those people that people might not know about and they got really unique stories. And that's one part of the show that I love is like when you tune in, like, oh, dang, this person, I love their story, or boom, boom, boom. But then it's some people like household names. Like a lot of people's like, I didn't even know Lance Gross went to Howard.
Right. I'm
like, really? And it's like, I'm like, yeah, he had a track scholarship and everything.
Yeah,
he did acting and, but it's like, they was like, no, I really didn't know. And so then it starts to, one thing I always wanted to do with the show was also connect the dots for some people that some of these household names are people that you see on TV or in entertainment or whatever. They did go to some of these HBCUs as well. So I think that's cool as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what can we look forward to seeing on the new season?
Man, this new season crazy. So every Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern on Aspire TV. We got DJ Trauma.
Oh, yeah, he's on the first
episode.
And DJ Trauma, by the way, that is my guy
That's
right
my
there.
guy.
But he is also Dave Chappelle's
Yeah.
DJ.
Yeah.
I was on the road with him.
Yeah.
But he went to Clark, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So DJ Trauma in there, he came through, showed mad love. I love his stories. I love everybody's stories because it's all unique. Another DJ this year, we got DJ Stormy. She's a female DJ in Atlanta. I'm not sure if you're familiar. The Nike Yard Runner campaign, Nike did a campaign where they highlighted like yard runners, like people that ran the yard and sent out Nikes and really just put a different spotlight on HBCU. So we got one of the people that actually created that movement. Arenze is going to be, he went to Howard, but then someone actually created the FAMU Dunk custom shoe. Kate the Great is on there. I got people in the community, like my guy Q Derek. He's doing some really amazing things in Fayetteville with just young entrepreneurs. And his thing was, when I grew up, I was going to school with flip-flops and socks, like, because I didn't have money to afford stuff. And so he's now giving back to the community. He just got recognized as 40 under 40 and what he's doing. The list is crazy. I got VPs and
that's great. I see a lot of organizations now and institutions trying to tap in to HBCU students and alumni, even as far as hiring.
Yep.
And making sure that those programs are there and available and that they're tapping in, because those, I think, is a under-resourced thing that they can be doing, because I know we had some people from Prudential up here and they were talking about the program that they have where they specifically make sure that they reach out and target HBCU students for their internships and for hiring.
Yeah.
And STEM programs.
Yeah, it's just getting it out there too. A lot of students don't be knowing about these opportunities, and a lot of brands don't know how to connect with the students. That's why HBCU 101 is such an amazing platform, because we're bringing everybody to one stop. That way the brands can't figure out how to get in touch with the students, and the students can learn about those type of opportunities to help they can get a scholarship from a Prudential or something like that help them finish school. Because
Right.
some people can do 3-4 years and about to graduate or can't graduate because they don't have enough funding. But then certain scholarships from these Fortune 500 companies can help a lot of students complete their degrees. So it's just important that we all figure out, how we can reach each other and connect with each other.
Right, a great source of recruiting too,
Yes.
Yeah.
just to get some of these students. Well, you guys, thank you so much. How can people reach you? Where can people watch? Just give all that information so they know how to tap in.
HBCU 101 on all platforms. We Aspire TV 12 p.m. Eastern, so it's right before football. So you can go ahead and tune in.
Let them know the longest running show.
Longest running show, 8th season and more to count. I'm Jahliel Thurman on all social.
I'm Frederick WJR on Instagram.
See, I told you.
Yep, that's all I got.
And shout out to Courtney Whitaker, Fred's sister.
Shout out to my
killing it
baby
right now,
sister.
too.
I feel like at a certain point I'm gonna have to ask my sister to hire me because she's just
I
doing
told you she
amazing
has
things.
surpassed you, Fred.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. It's Way Up with Angela Yee.
Way up.